I have a couple of gaping holes behind my monitor in my vocal booth from the ventilation boxes that I built in the last video. So I want to cover those up to help me reduce the fan noise that I can hear, and I also have a couple of loose ends that need to be fixed. One, the door, and some of the foam that's bubbling up from one of the walls.
My name is Eric Strebel. Welcome to my channel about product design and making.
Congratulations, PCBWay, it's your 6th anniversary, and to celebrate, they sent me this box of swag. They have coupons on their website that you can apply when you place your order. Share the event on social media for more chances at savings, even a chance for free orders. There's even a lucky draw and anniversary sale going on as well. Click the link in the description to get your next project started. Big or small, simple or complex, PCBWay can help.
Thanks, PCBWay. Congratulations on your 6th anniversary.
I even made them a special congratulatory video right here from Detroit. Check it out, link in the description below. By watching the video, you support me, supports the channel, because the sponsor ultimately makes many things possible to make content that you guys love on this channel.
Again, congratulations and happy anniversary. Great job, good luck for many years to come.
All right, let's do like a little sketch of what it is we're gonna do to try to reduce the fan noise inside of my booth. And this is a little top-down view of a baffle that we're gonna make to helpfully reduce the fan speed noise inside the booth. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to deflect the sound away from the microphone, and the opening of the baffle is on the back, and that is towards the foam, and that's where it's going to draw in the air and then ultimately out of the booth. I modeled this thing in Fusion 360 real quick. I use about a 3mm wall thickness for the whole thing, and ultimately we're going to 3D print these two pieces. It's too big to do in one piece, so I have to break it up and make it in 2 parts. I use the Polymaker Polysmooth PLA. I'm just trying to use up the spool that I have for this project. I don't really like the stuff so much. It's kind of weird and stringy, and it's not like regular PLA, so it's perfect to use up for this project. So after the first part's removed from the machine, we can get to printing the second part, which is the back box. And I'm also using the same material to finish up the second part. It works out perfect. There's just going to be a fair amount of weeding to do, removing all the supports for mainly the other piece. Let's try to take that stuff out. Now, removing these supports is hard work. Definitely more hard work than, let's say, playing a video game and streaming it live on YouTube. I mean, there's physical work involved here. You know, unlike just sitting in front of a monitor and playing a video game. It's too bad I don't get paid as much as they do. Anyway, now that that's done, I need to fix a couple things in the booth that haven't been taken care of, and one is the door. I never sealed around the window because I was having that initial fogging of the adhesive that I used to seal the glass inside the door. So I want to screw that together, and I'm doing this by hand because I'm really worried about cracking the glass. So I drill the holes very carefully. Let's vacuum up, and then I screw the screws in, and I do this by hand because if I am hitting the glass, I want to be able to feel it so I don't bust the glass. We're going to use some contact adhesive to put down the foam back onto the back of the door, and that's done. Now, I also have one spot on the back of the booth, probably from where I lay my shoulder when I'm recording audio, that is bubbling up. And so I get Chris here to help me disassemble the booth, and you can see how easy it is to remove a panel. So that one part of the foam there has bubbled up. The adhesive just didn't stick so good, or just from me, you know, leaning up against it. And we just take some of this contact adhesive and we just put it down, and it's not worth letting it dry. It's the environmentally friendly water-based stuff, and so we just put some weights on it, get that done. So while we were doing that and a couple of failed prints, I managed to use up a few spools of PLA to make the other set of baffles, right? And you can see the multicolored prints here. So it was a perfect project for that, to just use up excess or remaining spools of PLA to print the other set of baffles. So let's go and remove all the material, support material in here. Again, this is, you know, hard work. You know, it's not like I'm playing a video game. I'm actually getting something, you know, I'm learning a skill. All right, some of the supports are a little tough to remove, so we'll grind those away on the back here with the grinder. While the grinder is effective at removing large portions of material, it effectively melts some of the PLA. So coming back with a rough file is pretty helpful to smooth everything out really nice. Let's vacuum up because the little PLA shavings just went everywhere. Let's super glue the two halves of the baffles together. And we'll drop some super glue here into the groove, and then some accelerant onto the other half. And I did have to notch out the insert box here, just a little bit too tight of a fit on my line-to-line connection. Not sure why that happened, whatever. It's all going to be covered up ultimately and not seen. I'm using a pretty thick set super glue here. I'll leave a link to that super glue in the description below. If not the same super glue, then the comparable version on Amazon, and then some accelerant here as well. And I have to do the same thing on the other part to glue the two pieces together. Same procedure as before. And it makes a very strong connection, actually. As long as you have enough surface area between the two parts. I find super glue works really, really well on PLA for bonding pieces together, and it makes a very strong joint that is certainly going to be adequate for this project. Now, because I'm a little concerned about the backside hole and not getting enough airflow, I'm going to drill a couple of holes with a hole saw into the tops of the boxes that are basically facing the ceiling inside the booth to get some additional airflow. And also these holes are a little bit higher up, so they'll be able to hopefully remove some of the hot air from the top of the booth. Mass-loaded vinyl. It's adhesive backed. And I coat the baffles with this mass-coated vinyl. Super sticky, 3.5 inches wide. I'm going to coat the 3D printed pieces with this mass-coated vinyl. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase the mass and dampen the sound as it travels through here to try to make it less. So we're going to stick that stuff on here. This mass-coated vinyl is something I've sort of discovered through building this vocal booth. Had I known about mass-coated vinyl, I think I probably would have used some on the walls. So big sheets in between the foam and the wood. And the mass just helps reduce or dampen the sound to get better sound absorption. It's pretty thick stuff, and the idea here is that the sound waves basically are absorbed by this mass of vinyl, and it helps reduce noise. It's often used for sound rooms and things like that, and so we're giving it a little test on this project. It's pretty easy to work with. It's super sticky, It makes my hands all sticky, but it does take a fair amount of work to wrap onto these weird kind of forms because of the odd nature of the forms. Now I have 2 rolls, one for each of the baffles, and I put some on the inside as well, just to help increase the mass.
Okay, let's conduct a quick test. Uncoated, or so with no mass-coated vinyl, with mass-coated vinyl. So that's pretty promising. This is how it sounds with no coating. This is how it sounds with the mass-loaded vinyl. So a little less resonance in here than here, and hopefully that's gonna be something or enough to help quiet the fan noise a little bit for me. We'll see. We'll run some tests with the microphone.
Record that. All right, this is the input gain set to 0 and the fans set to maximum. You could definitely hear the fans. And here's the recording with the baffles installed. I have one more trick that I want to try in an effort to reduce the sound from the fans even more, and that is to install some foam onto the inside of the baffles to try to reduce or dampen that fan sound even more. I put a little spray adhesive on the foam to help it adhere to the inside. Input gain set to 0, fan speed set to maximum with the foam that I installed into the baffles. Let's hear how that sounds. So let's set the microphone gain to -15. This is where I normally record at my audio for my voiceovers, just like in this position. Now you can't hear the fan noise with the input gain set to -15. I don't think that this is the solution, right? You don't turn your fan speed all the way up, get that noise just because your microphone can't hear the audio. I don't think that's the way to go. Building these boxes, having to turn up the fan speed to get the airflow that I need, getting this additional sound, even though the microphone can't pick up the audio, is probably not the right solution. I don't think that what I've built is worth my time or the correct way to do this. I think that the fans suck, literally. They're too loud. And I think that some different fans are probably the correct solution. Some people have mentioned decoupling the box from the side of my booth. I don't know. Could possibly make things better. Clearly these baffles that I have built are not enough to suppress that sound, and maybe my expectations were too high in terms of building these baffles and thinking that that was going to suppress my sound. Maybe that's not the solution. I just had incorrect expectations of what these baffles would do for my return on my investment. So if you have solutions or ideas, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear your feedback and your thoughts. If you have some quieter fans that you can recommend, I would love to hear those. These are just some PC fans. If you watch the previous video, volume number 4 of the Sound Booth Adventures, you can see the fans that I use, Stylinx fans. So if you have a solution or different fans that you can recommend, I'd love to hear those. I'd be interested in swapping those out to reduce my fan noise. Thanks for checking out the video. Really appreciate it. Thumbs up if you liked the video. Appreciate everybody's support. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rock on. Click here
to check out some of the other design and making videos that I have that you might enjoy.